everyone, it's Caroline here from Aussie Cards and Crafts, and today I would like to show you how to make this beautiful Tuxedo pop-out card. Now this one I've done with autumn colours and autumn leaves, etc., and a little bit of wheat in there as well. I just love this. This is for a very special lady whose birthday is coming up in a couple of weeks' time. So I thought I'd better, seeing as I'm so busy at the moment, I thought I'd better get one made for her. But when I did it, I really enjoyed making it. And I thought, yes, I need to do something and do one again. So what I thought I would do is, as I've got so many Christmas cards this year that I've got to make, I'm going to make the same style, but I'm going to do it with some Christmas gnomes. Now, the one that I've done here was from the Paper Craft Society box. And the papers is from John Next Door, which is John Lockwood. And this is the Paper Craft Society goodies that get sent to me every month, and they have absolutely some stunning papers in there this month, and I'm not even sure where the papers are at the moment. If I can find them, I'll show them to you, but they're the other papers. But yeah, they are absolutely gorgeous, and as you can see, I've used those from there. I'm sure a lot of you that are watching today probably get the Paper Craft Society boxes. This one is box number, actually I can tell you from the back of the packet. It is box number 35, and it comes with some absolutely wonderful, wonderful, wonderful autumn shades and papers and things. So when I saw that the first thing that I thought of was that I wanted to do a card for this particular friend. I can't mention her name because she might watch the video. So yeah, so this one is for her, and the next one that I'm going to do is actually going to be the same style, but it's going to be in a Christmas card. Now, the reason I'm doing it as a Christmas card is I have so many Christmas cards to do this year. So I'm going to do the gnomes. I'm going to use the gnome paper. Now, I bought this probably 2 years ago now, and I'm just going to, I've done some fussy cutting, and I just would like them to go straight down there. So anyway, I've done the fussy cutting, but as I was saying, sorry, I bought the gnome paper and I didn't use it at all. So what I thought I would do today is I'm going to show you how to make this beautiful tuxedo card. So let me show you what I've done. This is basically a template, and I'm just going to pop it there for you. This is a template on how you need to actually cut it. It's a very simple card, and if you follow along with me, you won't have any issues. But I did just want to make sure that you can actually have a maybe take a screenshot of that, because yeah, I think it's fairly clear, but it will become clearer as I talk you through it. So what you need first off is you need your base card. Now your base card is going to be 10 3/4 inches along the long side, and it's going to be 7 inches along as in deep. So it's 10 3/4 by 7, and along that 10 3/4 inch line, sorry, you then need to score at 2.5, 5, 7.5, and then 10. Okay, then if you then measure up, get your ruler. That's a big ruler, I'll get a little one. Just measure up 4.5 inches. So from the bottom here to there, and put a little mark. Okay, so just there. And then from here on the other side, do exactly the same. So 4.5 inches, put a mark just there. Now what you're going to do, and as you can see, I've actually have drawn on this one, you're going to, excuse me, excuse me, you're going to make a cut from there to there. Now you can do it with a blade, which I think I might do because I think it's going to be easier to show you, or you can use your paper trimmer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a blade, and I am going to cut, so from there to there, if you draw a line, firstly to that first score line, and then from the third score line right across the fourth score line to there, because this is just a tab. Okay, then what we need to do is we then need, just move this round a little bit so that I can see it better. So from that mark to that mark, so from that score line to there. And then on this side, once again, using your two marks, go from this first score line here to that mark. Okay. Now what you need to do is get your ruler again and get a pencil. And from that center score line there, or the second one in, you need to get your ruler and you need to go from there right the way through this little intersection just here. Okay, so this is where you've cut to. So this needs to be going right through there. So, and what we need to do is we then need to cut just this part. So not this part down here, okay? That is going to be a score, but just this top part. So from here to here is where we're going to cut. The rest of it we're going to score. So I will score the whole lot first and then I will cut that top part. So I'll just get my scoring tool out if I can find it. That will do. So from there down to there, right through where that intersection is. Okay, and then what we do is we then get our ruler lined up again and just down to there. So that part all comes out. Then we do the same on the other side. So we get our ruler and we mark that right the way through that intersection there, just in there. And as I say, this time we need to score this piece here. And then we need to cut the top piece. Okay, and that comes away quite easily. Next thing we need to do is we just need, where I've just got a squiggly line there, we now need, and you can use scissors for this if you want. You just need to cut up to that first score line on that tab, and then you cut down to there. Okay. And they're the pieces. So that is basically how your card is going to look once you've finished all the cutting, and it really and truly isn't that difficult to do it. So now what we need to do is we need to now fold these in. So you've got your center one that finishes at the point just there, making sure that that does go to a point. And one's slightly off, so I'm just going to force it a little bit. And then this one, once again, using your bone folder, and then the other one. And of course this little one is the tab, so we fold that in. Okay, now what's actually going to happen is that's going to attach like this. Now these are the two that you actually scored. You're going to fold those down, and that's what is what we call the tuxedo part of it. Now when you're folding that down, make sure that it does line up along that line, okay? And if you need to use brute force with it, make sure you do, because it is really important that that lines up. Otherwise it doesn't go together very, very clearly. So straight the way down there, and okay, so there we have it. That is the basis of our card. Okay, now what we need to do is we need to do some decorating. Okay, so we need to put some mats and layers, etc. on there. Now I have got these already cut out, but I'm going to give you the measurements that I've used. Firstly, you're going to need to use two pieces. Okay, so I've got 2 pieces here. Now these pieces are going to be, let me have a little look here. They are going to be 6 1/4 inches long and 2 1/4 inches across the top. Now this is a directional paper. You can see You can see my little gnomies or gnomes are standing up that way. So when you've got directional paper, you need to make sure that you put the 2 faces together, because what you need to do is we now need to make sure that we've got these fitting. So the best way to do that is to get your 2 pieces, put them together, and basically place those 2 pieces where you believe that they should be. Okay, so making sure they're straight. And what I do is I just put, making sure I've got a nice even border all the way around, I then put a little mark at the top there and a little mark there. So if you can see, that mark to that mark is going to, once we cut that off, that is going to give it enough, give it the correct angle. So with those pieces still two of them together, what I tend to do, and you can use the scissors, but I actually prefer to use my cutter on these ones, except my cutter has lost its blade. Oh, there it is. Okay. So what we do is we line up that mark there and this top mark there, okay, on the cutting line of your cutter. And now keep those, because we might just be able to use those in a moment. So these are going to go just there and just there. Now these 2 pieces here can probably go just there. Just got to make sure our gnomes are in the right spot, that's all. No, I'm gonna do it differently. I will use, sometimes you can use those. If it's not directional paper you're using, you can use those. So these need to be glued on, so I'm going to do that right now. The next, what we need to do is we need to get 2 pieces that are 2 1/4 inches by 2 1/4 inches, and once again we need to put them together. Now we're only going to use 2 of these, and I've just got to work out which way I'm going to cut them. Okay, well, I'll cut it from there down to there. And when we look at them, excuse me, so I'd like, oh, that's upside down. My gnome's upside down there, so that's a piece that I don't necessarily want. I've got to make sure my gnomes are facing the right way if I can possibly manage it. That will do, and I think that will do as well. So there we go. We're going to use those 2 pieces, and they're going to go just there. The next pieces that we need are going to be 2 pieces, and I'm going to use a contrast for these. So I'm going to use this, and this is all part of that gnome set. And these pieces are going to be 2 1/4 inches across there and 4 1/4 inches in length. Okay, and once again we need to lay these down and mark them. So what I need to do is pop them face to face. There's no direction on this, so there's not really any issues as to which way they go, but then place them correctly down the bottom, and using your pencil once again, make a little mark. Just pop that out of the way for a moment. So putting those together, laying that down and placing that correctly, you then make a little mark just there and just there, and that's going to give you the border all the way around as well. take those two pieces off, and once again I'll bring my cutter in for this, holding those two pieces together. I'm then going to line it up with one mark there and the other mark down here, and then cut it off like so. And these pieces are now going to go just here. So that one will go in like so, and you can see that fits really, really well in there. And then this one will go just here. So I'm going to stick those down now. So there is the bases of our card. So that little tab there will stick to there, and eventually, not now, we're not going to do that just yet, and then we'll have the decorations coming in there. Now what we need to do is we need something to put in here to actually make our decorations. Now I used an A4 sheet of the white card to do this, and so therefore I have some card left over. I have this strip here, and what you need to do is you need to cut two pieces. One of them will be 5 1/4 and the other one will be 4 1/4 inches long, and I'm going to trim this to 1 inch as well instead of it being this size. So firstly, trim it to 1 inch. Make sure it's nice and straight. And from there, I am going to cut one piece that is going to be 5 1/4 inches. So that goes to there. And the other piece is going to be 4 1/4 inches. And then what we need to do is to put a score line at 1/2 inch, turn it around the other way, and once again another score line at the 1/2 inch. Okay, and then you fold those in. What I tend to do is just bend it out a little bit just to help it along. The same with this one, you're going to make a score line at 1/2 inch on both ends. So 1/2 inch there, turn it around, and a 1/2 inch there. And once again, fold those in. Okay. And of course they can be burnished as well. So with this one, what I tend to do, this one is folded under. It is 4 1/4 inches. That's not the right size, is it? This one is 4 1/4. Did I say 4 1/4? I think I did. Yes, 4 1/4 and 5 1/4. So this one is 4 1/4. So this one is going to be, the middle point of this is going to be 2 1/8. So I'm just going to put a little dot just there. This one is 5 1/4. So this one is going to be, what is it, 2 1/2, 2 5/8. And that's going to be the center of that one. Okay, so that will sit like that. So the first one that you're going to put down is your smallest one, and it's just folded over. The reason we've put a little mark there, and it doesn't matter which way it goes up, I'm going to put it downwards, is we just use that mark to put that on the center line so we can actually center that piece. Okay, so you've got your two pieces folded over. So what we now need to do is we now need to glue the ends. And using that tiny little mark that you did, make sure that it doesn't come up over, and make sure that that mark is on that center line there. Okay, so there's that one. The next one can come down a little bit more, and once again we've got that little mark to tell us where the center line is. So it's just an easy way of making sure that you get them centered properly. There we go. And just hold those in place and let them dry. And next what we need to do is we need to make some, I thought I actually had some, but obviously I don't. We now need to use some acetate. Now this one is fairly flimsy, this acetate, so I tend to double it over. So to make these, now what I'm going to do, and I'm going to have to put you on pause for just a sec because I think I've left some of my decorations outside. So just bear with me for a moment. Okay, so sorry about that. They were here, but they I put the box on them and they weren't quite dry, so it actually has lifted some of my poinsettia off. So I'll wait till that dries. I'll still use it. You'll see it's just lifted some off there, but I'll fix that up with some colour afterwards. What I had done is I had put some Nouveau drops on the, not Nouveau drops, glossy accents on there. So unfortunately they did stick to the bottom of the box, but I can cover that up with something else. So what I need to do now is I need to make sure, these are my little bows, I'm going to pop those because I've cut those out from there. I just need to pop these in and I'll pop them onto acetate steps. So I'm going to use 1/2 inch, I think, is all that I'm going to need. Okay, so what I do, because these are relatively flimsy, I then will double them up. Okay, so I double them up and I put tape in between. So I'll just use a red tape, then I know that it's strong. So I just pop some tape down in there and trim that off. Pull the top off and then fold it down again. Okay, it just doubles up and it's just a lot stronger to do it that way. And then all you need to do is you then need to, you know, attach your flowers or whatever you're going to be using for your decoration to the top, and I use it with the red tape as well. So I'm going to go ahead and get all of these done for you, and I'll come back to you when they're all done and I'll show you how I put it all together. Right, okay, so bearing in mind that this is going to sit like so, we now need to place our, I want my gnome to be, because when this comes up, this is going to sit out. So I would like my gnome to be probably around about there. I'm going to have him fairly central. So I can chop some of this off. Cut about that much off. And then using red tape once again. And I'm going to put it behind this first piece, this smaller piece there. Okay, so you put it on the front. Take off the backing tape, which doesn't want to come off today. There we go. And I want that to be sitting about there. Okay, so that he looks like he's standing there for all intents and purposes. And then we've got our poinsettias. So I'm going to bring these in on the front one. So I'm going to have one sitting here. And I think the other one I'm going to have behind the gnome. So I'm going to have this one just here and I'm going to have this one just there. So that one is going to go behind that first piece. This is going to go in front of this first piece. And you'll see that where I actually took the bottom off of that, or the center of that flower off with that glue. I've just cut another piece and put it over the top, and it's fine. So it's always a good idea to place your pieces first. So I know that this one is going to come in just here, bearing in mind that you can't go wider than your actual card, the center of your card. So when you're placing them, make sure that the card can fold. So when you open it up, that is how it will look. Okay, so let's glue this together. The other one that I did had a lot of very, very small pieces in it, and it took forever to do. I mean, it does look lovely, but it did take forever to do. So I decided with the demo, I would leave it bigger pieces. When you glue that together, make sure that it glues right the way down that center and that the bottoms are straight. Okay, and you can see that that opens up beautifully. And then to open it up, it's a little bit damp at the moment. To open it up, you just sit it like so. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put something on the back here. But I also want to put a sentiment. Now I did cut a sentiment out. I need to find that. I did cut a Christmas sentiment out, and there he is. And I would like "Believe in Magic" just there. Okay, now these little bows that I've done, I'm also going to pop those because they match in with there. I'm actually going to pop these around here. So I'm just going to speed up while I do that. But I just wanted you to see how I actually did it. So this is from one of the paper pieces that I've just cut out, these lovely greetings here. So I'm going to do that and speed up while I do it. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I want to show you how to make that little hinge there to put the greeting on. So I'm going to use a piece of card that is 3/4 of an inch by 3 inches. Okay, so you just cut it there. You then score it at 1/2 inch, 1 inch, and then you have your little zigzag there. Okay, and the other end you then leave it for 1 inch, and then you score it 2 inches. Whoopsies. And then 2.5 inches. So the piece will look like this. Okay, and what we do is we glue that piece onto here, making sure that this actually goes down the center, and then we can glue our sentiment onto that, and as it comes up it will then show, it'll make the sentiment stand out. So pop those together, making sure that we get it on that center line. Okay, hold it down just to let it dry, and then as you can see that will spring out, and then all you do is you pop that onto there. And still a little bit wet, and there we have it. There is our card. So you've got plenty of room to actually write something on the back. With the last one that I actually did put happy birthday and a little flower, a little leaf up there as well, and I'm going to probably do the same with this on the back. What I'm now going to do is I'm now going to get rid of my cutting board, and I'm going to utilize these little bows because they match in with that. And I'm just going to put a few of these around here, and then I'm going to get some bling and decorate my Believe in the Magic with bling as well. So I'm just going to... Okay, so I've just gone and grabbed a grab some bling from my stash, and I'll see if I can find my pokey tool. It seems to have gone missing. There he is. Okay. So I'm just going to take put a piece of bling there, and maybe just a couple more. I'd have one down here and another one maybe just there. Okay, so you've got 3 pieces of bling there. And there we have it. So that is the, now what did I call this one? I called it the Tuxedo, and it's called Tuxedo because these are the Tuxedo, obviously flaps on a dinner jacket. And then you got your bows that I've cut out, and it's our Nomi one. So that's my first Christmas card for this year. I've got a lot to do, so a lot of the tutorials will probably be with Christmas cards because I'm going to do one for all of my clients this year. So that's the first one. That was a happy birthday one, and that is to a very special friend of mine. And this is the Christmas one that I've just done here. So I think they're really fun. Bearing in mind that the more you put in there, the fuller it is, the harder it is. This one only had the 3, so it had the flower behind there, the flower at the front, and of course the gnome. So that made it a lot easier and a lot quicker, but I do like that with all the autumn colours in it. So thank you for joining me today. Please give me a thumbs up and also subscribe to my channel because that really does help. If you need any help with anything, please don't hesitate to pop on over to our Facebook site. It's Aussie Cards and Crafts. If you need any supplies, check out the Aussie Cards and Crafts web page as well. We do have some things up there for sale. We've got some beautiful papers and some kits, etc. So please check that out as well. Thank you for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you soon. And until then, happy crafting.